The old woman's wrinkled hand squeezed mine so tight I thought my fingers would break, and with her last breath she whispered 7 words that would destroy everything I thought I knew about my father's death. Your uncle fed him to the python. My name is Amara, and that morning under Oshodi Bridge, I had no idea that helping a dying stranger would rip open secrets buried 6 years deep. But let me go back 3 hours earlier, when my world was still small and simple. I woke up on cardboard, like always. The smell of urine and rotting food filled my nose. Around me, 20 other people were waking up too. The bridge people, we called ourselves. Mama Kemi was already boiling water for tea using firewood. Old man Joseph was coughing again, that terrible sound that shook his whole body. I was 19 years old and I slept under a bridge. 6 years ago, I lived in a real house. My father owned 3 shops in the market. We ate rice and chicken every Sunday. I had my own bed with pink sheets. I was going to become a doctor. That was my dream since I was small. Then Papa died. That same week, Uncle Namdi and Aunt Adana came to our house with smiles that didn't reach their eyes. We will take care of you, Uncle Namdi said. They took care of everything. They took the shops. They took the house. They took the money Papa saved for my school. They gave me one small room in their boys' quarters and made me cook, clean, and wash for them. I did it all without complaining because I had nowhere else to go. Then one day, Aunt Adana's golden necklace went missing. Amara stole it, she screamed, even though I never touched it. Thief! Your father's daughter is a thief. They threw me out that same day. I was 13 years old with 1 bag of clothes and nowhere to sleep. The bridge became my home. But I never stopped dreaming. Every morning, I would walk to the market and sell pure water in the hot sun. Every night, I would count my money and imagine the day I would have enough to go back to school. 6 years of selling water, and I had saved 23,000 naira. Hidden in an old milk tin buried under my sleeping spot. It wasn't much. Medical school needed millions. But it was something. It was hope. That morning, as I folded my cardboard bed, I saw her. An old woman lying near the bridge pillar. Her wrapper was dirty. Her breathing was shallow. People walked past her like she was invisible. I walked over and knelt down. Mama, are you okay? Her eyes opened slowly. They were cloudy with age but sharp with intelligence. Water, she whispered. I had 1 bottle of water left from yesterday's sales. I needed to sell it. 20 naira was 20 naira. But looking at her dry, cracked lips, I couldn't walk away. I opened the bottle and helped her drink. Thank you, my daughter. Her voice was stronger now. You have a good heart. It's just water, Mama. No. She grabbed my hand with surprising strength. Kindness is never just anything. What is your name? Amara. Amara. Beautiful name. I am Madam Margaret. She tried to sit up and winced. I need to get to Victoria Island. My son is waiting for me. But my body is too weak. Victoria Island. Where rich people lived. Where houses had gates and guards. Mama, Victoria Island is very far. Maybe I should call someone for you? I have no phone. My bag was stolen last night. Everything is gone. Tears filled her eyes. My son will be worried. His name is Anderson. He is all I have left. Something in her voice broke my heart. Maybe it was because I understood what it meant to have nothing. Maybe it was because I remembered how my father used to worry about me. I will take you, I heard myself say. Mama Kemi grabbed my arm. Amara, don't be foolish. You need to sell water today. You need money. She was right. Every day I didn't sell was a day further from my dream. But looking at Madam Margaret's desperate face, I couldn't leave her. I will be fine, Mama Kemi. I will sell double tomorrow. It took us 4 hours to get to Victoria Island. We took 3 buses. I used the money I had for my own food. Madam Margaret leaned on me like I was her daughter, and I supported her like she was my mother. Why are you helping me? She asked as we sat on the last bus. You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. My father taught me that we are all connected. When you help someone, you help yourself. She smiled sadly. Your father was a wise man. Is he still alive? My throat tightened. He died 6 years ago. I am sorry, my dear. How did he die? They said it was a heart attack. He was only 42. I looked out the window. But he was healthy. He never even had a cough. One day he was fine, laughing and joking. The next day he was gone. Madame Margaret's hand tightened on mine. And after he died? Who took care of you? My uncle and aunt. For 1 year. Then they threw me out. Why? I shrugged. They said I stole from them. But I think they just wanted me gone. They wanted everything Papa had without a daughter to share with. Madame Margaret was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was strange. What was your father's name? Samuel. Samuel Obi. She gasped. Actually gasped. Her whole body went stiff. Madam, what's wrong? Do you know my father? Before she could answer, the bus stopped. Victoria Island, the conductor shouted. We got off and Madame Margaret directed me through streets I had only seen on TV. Big houses. Fancy cars. Security men everywhere. We finally stopped at a tall gate with golden designs. A young guard opened it. His eyes went wide when he saw Madame Margaret. Madam, we have been looking for you everywhere. Sir Anderson has gone crazy with worry. I am fine now, David. This girl saved me. Call Anderson. Minutes later, a man ran out of the house. He was tall, maybe 25 years old, wearing expensive clothes. His face was tight with panic. Mother, thank God. He hugged Madame Margaret, then looked at me. Who are you? She is your angel, Madame Margaret said. She found me under a bridge and brought me all the way here. She used her own money. She spent her whole day. Anderson, this girl has a heart of pure gold. Anderson looked me up and down. I suddenly felt ashamed of my old clothes, my dusty slippers, the way I smelled after traveling in hot buses. But his eyes weren't disgusted. They were curious. Thank you, he said quietly. I don't know how to repay you. You don't have to repay me. I am happy Madam is home safe. I turned to leave, but Madame Margaret grabbed my hand again. Wait, you said you live under a bridge? I nodded, embarrassed. And you sell water? I nodded again. And you want to be a doctor? I froze. I never told her that. How did you? I can see it in your eyes. You have dreams bigger than your circumstances. She looked at Anderson. She needs to eat. She needs to rest. Tomorrow we will talk. Madam, I should go. My spot under the bridge. We'll be there tomorrow. Tonight. You are my guest. Please. Let me show you the same kindness you showed me. That night, I slept in a real bed for the first time in 6 years. The sheets were soft. The pillows smelled like flowers. The room had air conditioning. I cried into that pillow, quietly, so no one would hear. In the morning, Madame Margaret called me to her room. Anderson was there too. Sit down, Amara. I sat on the edge of a velvet chair, my hands in my lap. I want to help you go back to school, Madame Margaret said. I want to pay for everything. School fees, books, uniform, food, everything. My heart stopped. Madam, why would you do that for me? Because you showed me kindness when you had nothing to gain. Because I see something special in you. Because. She glanced at Anderson, then back at me. Because every young person deserves a chance at their dreams. Tears poured down my face. 6 years of struggle. 6 years of hoping. And suddenly, just like that, a door was opening. But, Anderson said, his voice cold, you have to understand something. My mother is too trusting. How do we know this isn't a trick? How do we know you're not using her kindness? Anderson. Madame Margaret's voice was sharp. No, Mother. We don't know this girl. She could be anyone. She could have a whole plan. I stood up, my legs shaking. Thank you, Madame Margaret, for your kindness. But I don't want charity if it comes with suspicion. I would rather sell water with my dignity than take money and be called a liar. I walked to the door. Wait. Madame Margaret's voice was heavy. Amara, please wait. Sit down. Both of you sit down. There is something I need to tell you. We sat. The air in the room felt thick. Anderson, Amara is not a stranger. Or at least her father wasn't. Madame Margaret took a deep breath. Samuel Obi was my husband's best friend. They grew up together. They built businesses together. They were like brothers. My world tilted. You knew my father? Yes. And I knew your uncle Namdi too. Her voice turned dark. I knew what kind of man he was. Greedy. Jealous. Always wanting what Samuel had. I don't understand. Why didn't you find me after Papa died? Why didn't you help me? Because I didn't know you needed help. By the time I heard about Samuel's death, I heard you had gone to live with relatives. I heard you were fine. I tried to visit once, but Namdi told me you had traveled. I believed him. Tears filled her eyes. If I had known you were on the streets, I would have come for you immediately. But how did you recognize me yesterday? Under the bridge. I didn't. Not until you told me your name and your father's name on the bus. Then I saw Samuel in your eyes. The same determination. The same kindness. Anderson's face had changed. The suspicion was gone, replaced by something softer. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I didn't know. I nodded, unable to speak. There's more, Madame Margaret said. Her hand was shaking now. Amara, I think your father didn't die of a heart attack. The room went cold. What do you mean? Samuel was healthy. He was strong. He was only 42, like you said. The morning before he died, he called my husband. He said he had discovered something terrible about Namdi. He said he had proof that Namdi was involved in something dark, something evil. He was going to confront Namdi that evening. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. What kind of something? My husband died 2 years ago, and he never told me the details. But he always said he believed Samuel was murdered. And he believed Namdi was behind it. No. I shook my head. No, Uncle Namdi is greedy, yes. He is wicked, yes. But murder? He wouldn't. Amara. Madame Margaret's voice was gentle but firm. I know this is hard to hear. But I have spent years feeling guilty that I didn't push harder to find the truth. And then yesterday, God brought you to me. Maybe this is meant to be. Maybe we are meant to find out what really happened to your father. 3 days later, I was enrolled in school. Not just any school. A good private school that prepared students for medical school. Madame Margaret paid for everything. She also gave me a room in her house and treated me like her own daughter. Anderson slowly warmed up to me. He taught me how to use the computer. He helped me with my homework. He told me about his own struggles, how he had disappointed his father by not wanting to be a lawyer, how he wanted to be an artist but society told him it wasn't a real job. We all have dreams people don't understand, he said one evening as we sat in the garden. But we have to chase them anyway. Your mother understands, I said. She is giving me a chance at my dream. She sees herself in you, I think. She came from nothing too. My father married her when she was poor. His family rejected her. But she built herself up. She became strong. She never forgot where she came from. He looked at me. That's why she's helping you. She knows what it means to be given a chance. But even as my new life blossomed, I couldn't stop thinking about what Madame Margaret said about Papa's death. I started having nightmares. Papa calling my name. Papa trying to tell me something. Papa's face twisted in fear. 2 months after moving in with Madame Margaret, I decided to visit Uncle Namdi. I needed to look him in the eye. I needed to see if Madame Margaret was right. Madame Margaret tried to stop me. Amara, if he is guilty of something, confronting him could be dangerous. I have to know. I have to hear him say it. Anderson insisted on coming with me. We took his car and drove to the old neighborhood. My heart felt like it would burst when I saw the house. The house that used to be mine. Uncle Namdi answered the door. His face went pale when he saw me. Amara. What? What are you doing here? I came to ask you about my father. Your father is dead. What more is there to say? How did he die? Heart attack. You know this already. Papa was healthy. He was strong. People don't just die like that. Uncle Namdi's eye twitched. Sometimes people die. Amara. That's life. Now go away. You are not welcome here. Did you kill him? The words flew out of my mouth before I could stop them. His face changed completely. The color drained out. For 1 second, I saw pure terror in his eyes. Then he laughed. But it was a fake laugh. A scared laugh. You are crazy. Just like your father was crazy at the end. Get away from my house before I call the police. He slammed the door in my face. Anderson and I stood there in silence. Did you see his face? I whispered. He's hiding something. Yes, Anderson said slowly. I saw. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Uncle Namdi's terrified eyes. I kept hearing his words, just like your father was crazy at the end. What did that mean? Was Papa acting strange before he died? I needed answers. Real answers. So I went back to Oshodi Bridge. Back to my old life. Back to the people who knew me. Mama Kemi nearly cried when she saw me. Amara, look at you. You look so healthy. So beautiful. I hugged her tight. Mama Kemi, I need to ask you something. Do you remember 6 years ago when my father died? Did you ever meet him? Yes. He came looking for you once when Namdi first took you in. He wanted to make sure you were happy. He seemed like a good man. Did you ever see him again? She thought for a moment. Yes. 1 week before he died. He came to the market looking very worried. Very afraid. My blood went cold. Afraid of what? He asked me if I knew anyone who dealt with traditional things. Spiritual things. He said his brother was involved with something evil and he needed protection. The world spun around me. Did he say what kind of evil? No. But he looked like a man being hunted. He kept looking over his shoulder. He said if anything happened to him, I should remember that Namdi was not who people thought he was. She grabbed my hand. Amara, I should have told you this before, but I thought it was just the talk of a worried man. Now I wonder. Where did Papa go after he talked to you? He said he was going to the shrine. The old python shrine in the village. He said he needed to see something with his own eyes. The python shrine sat at the edge of the village like a rotting tooth. Even from the road, you could feel something wrong about it. The air was thick. The trees seemed to lean away from it. Anderson parked his car and looked at me. Amara, you don't have to do this. Yes, I do. We had driven 4 hours to reach my father's village. Madame Margaret wanted to come too, but her health wasn't strong enough for the journey. Before we left, she grabbed my face in both hands. Whatever you find there, remember that your father loved you. Remember that he was a good man. Don't let what happened to him change how you see him. Now, standing outside the shrine, I understood why she said that. An old man sat outside the shrine entrance. His eyes were milky white, blind, but somehow seeing everything. "You are Samuel's daughter," he said before I could speak. My skin went cold. "How do you know?" "You have his spirit, his light." The old man smiled sadly. "But you also carry his pain. You came for answers." "Yes. Truth has a price." "Are you willing to pay it?" "I just want to know what happened to my father." The old man stood slowly. "Come, I will tell you the story. But first, you must understand something. Your uncle Namdi was not born evil. Greed made him evil. Jealousy made him evil. And this shrine fed on that evil. He led us inside. The shrine was dark and smelled like death. In the center was a huge pit covered with iron bars. I heard something moving down there. Something big. "The python," the old man said. "The deity that gives wealth to those willing to sacrifice." My stomach turned. Sacrifice what? What they love most. No. I stepped back. "You're saying Uncle Namdi, he sacrificed my father?" "His own brother, not his brother." The old man's voice was heavy. "Himself. He sacrificed his own humanity." "But your father?" "Your father was the price for something even darker." The story the old man told me broke something inside my chest. 20 years ago, Namdi and Samuel were close. They built businesses together. They shared everything. But Namdi was always in Samuel's shadow. Samuel was smarter. Samuel was kinder. People trusted Samuel more. It ate at Namdi like acid. Then one day, a man came to Namdi with an offer. Wealth beyond imagination. Power. Respect. All he had to do was bring the python a gift. What kind of gift? Namdi asked. Someone pure. Someone good. Someone whose light will feed the darkness. Namdi thought about it for 1 week. Then he came back and agreed. But there was a problem, the old man continued. The python doesn't just take anyone. It only takes those who trust the one who brings them. Those who come willingly. So Namdi had to trick your father. How? My voice broke. He told Samuel that he was sick. That he needed to come to the shrine for healing. Samuel believed him because Samuel loved his brother. So one night, Samuel came here. Alone. Trusting. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming. Namdi brought him into this very room. They performed a ritual. They gave your father something to drink. Something that made him weak but kept him awake. Then, the old man pointed at the pit. They lowered him down there. Still alive. Still conscious. Stop, Anderson said. Please stop. But the old man continued. His voice flat and terrible. The python took 3 hours to kill him. They say you could hear his screams all the way to the village. But no one came. Everyone was too afraid of the shrine. Too afraid of the python. I collapsed to my knees. Tears poured down my face. My father. My kind, gentle father who taught me to help others. Who dreamed of me becoming a doctor. Who died alone in darkness. Betrayed by his own brother. Why? I whispered. Why did the python want him? Because your father was planning to expose the shrine. He had discovered that many wealthy men in the village were using the python to get rich. They were sacrificing their own family members. Samuel had evidence. Names. Documents. He was going to go to the police. The old man touched my shoulder gently. He died because he tried to do the right thing. We drove back to Lagos in silence. I stared out the window, seeing nothing, feeling nothing. My whole body was numb. Anderson tried to speak several times but couldn't find the words. When we finally reached the house, Madame Margaret took one look at my face and knew. Oh, my child. She held me while I sobbed. I am so sorry. He suffered, I said between tears. Mama, he suffered so much. And Uncle Namdi watched. He watched his own brother die. What are you going to do? Madame Margaret asked quietly. I pulled away and wiped my face. I am going to the police. Amara. Wait. Think about this. It has been 6 years. The old man's story. There is no proof. No evidence. And Namdi is rich now. He has connections. He has lawyers. The police will not believe you. Then what should I do? Let him live happily while my father's bones are somewhere in that pit. No. But we need to be smart. We need to get real evidence. We need to make him confess. The plan took 3 weeks to prepare. Anderson had a friend who worked with technology. Together, they created a tiny camera that looked like a button. I sewed it onto a shirt. Then I went to visit Aunt Adana. She opened the door and her mouth fell open. Amara? Is that really you? I was wearing nice clothes now. I looked healthy. I looked like someone who mattered. Hello, Auntie. My God. Look how beautiful you are. Where have you been? We have missed you so much. Liar. But I smiled. I came to talk. Can I come in? She practically pulled me inside. Uncle Namdi was sitting in the parlor. When he saw me, his face went hard. What do you want? I came to apologize, I said softly. I sat down and looked at the floor like a shamed child. I was angry before. I said terrible things. But I have been thinking a lot. You took care of me when I had no one. You gave me a place to stay. I was ungrateful. I could see Aunt Adana's eyes light up. She was greedy too, and she probably thought I had money now. We always cared about you, she said quickly. Like our own daughter. I know. And I want to make things right. I want us to be a family again. Uncle Namdi studied me with narrow eyes. Why now? Why suddenly after all these years? Because I finally understand that my father would want me to forgive. He always said family was everything. He loved you, Uncle. So much. He trusted you with everything. At the word trusted, Uncle Namdi's eye twitched. Yes, he said slowly. He trusted me. Did you know he called you his best friend? Not just his brother. His best friend. He said he would do anything for you. Another twitch. Yes, we were close. That's why I can't believe people say bad things about you. People say you hurt Papa. But I know that's not true. You loved him. Right. The room went very quiet. Uncle Namdi stood up. Who has been saying these things? Just rumors. People at the market. They say Papa didn't die of a heart attack. They say something else happened. People talk nonsense. I know. That's what I told them. I said my uncle would never hurt anyone. Especially not his own brother who trusted him completely. Who came to him whenever he needed help. Uncle Namdi's breathing got faster. Sweat appeared on his forehead. Your father. He started, then stopped. Your father was confused near the end. He was accusing me of things. Crazy things. He said I was doing bad business. He threatened to destroy me. Namdi. Aunt Adana hissed. Shut up. But he couldn't stop. The guilt was pouring out like poison. I didn't want to do it. You have to understand. I didn't want to. But he was going to take everything from me. Everything I worked for. So He looked at me, his eyes wild. I had to protect myself. I had to. What did you do, Uncle? I asked quietly. I took him to the shrine. I told him I needed help with a curse. He believed me. He always believed me. And when we got there, he laughed, a horrible broken sound. The python was hungry. So hungry. And Samuel's screams. They stopped after a while. Everything stopped. Aunt Adana was crying now. Namdi, stop talking. She's recording you. But it was too late. I stood up. My legs were shaking, but my voice was strong. You killed my father. You fed him to a snake for money. And then you took everything he left behind, even his daughter. Uncle Namdi lunged at me, but Anderson burst through the door. He had been waiting outside. He grabbed Namdi and pinned him down. You have no proof. Namdi screamed. No proof. I touched the button camera on my shirt. I have everything. Every word you just said. And you're right. Papa did trust you. That's why he died. Because he loved you too much to see what you really were. The police came. They arrested Uncle Namdi and Aunt Adana. The investigation revealed 7 other families who had been destroyed by the Python Shrine. 7 other fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters who had been sacrificed. The shrine was burned down. The python was killed. Justice, people called it. But it didn't feel like justice. It felt like emptiness. My father was still gone. And nothing could bring him back. 6 months later, I started medical school. On my first day, I wore a small necklace, the only thing I had left of Papa's. A tiny silver cross that he used to wear. Madam Margaret and Anderson drove me to campus. They had become my family now. My real family. The kind that Papa would have wanted for me. He would be so proud, Madam Margaret said, hugging me tight. I hope so. I know so. You didn't let what happened make you bitter. You didn't let the darkness win. You chose kindness, even after everything. That's real strength. 4 years later, I graduated top of my class. I became Dr. Amara Obi. And I opened a free clinic under Oshodi Bridge. The same bridge where I once slept on cardboard. Where I once sold water in the hot sun. Where I once met an old woman who changed my life. The clinic was small, but it was full of hope. We treated people who had nothing. People the world had forgotten. People like I used to be. On the opening day, Mama Kemi came. Old man Joseph came. All the bridge people came. And I stood in front of them with tears streaming down my face. My father taught me that we are all connected, I said. He taught me that when you help someone, you help yourself. He died trying to protect people from evil. And I promised to spend my life trying to heal people from pain. This clinic is for him. For his memory. For his kindness. Anderson and I got married 2 years after that. Madam Margaret cried happy tears at the wedding. She wore yellow. Papa's favorite color. Samuel is here, she whispered to me as I walked down the aisle. I can feel him. He's so proud of you. I looked up at the ceiling and smiled. Maybe she was right. Maybe Papa was watching. Maybe he finally knew that his death wasn't meaningless. That the daughter he loved had grown up to be exactly what he dreamed she would be. A doctor. A healer. A light in the darkness. Years later, people would ask me, how did you survive? How did you not become bitter after everything that happened? And I would tell them about kindness. How one act of kindness to a dying woman under a bridge opened doors I never knew existed. How kindness creates chains of miracles that ripple out forever. I would tell them about hope. How even when the world is dark and cruel, holding on to your dreams can save you. How dreams are stronger than pain. I would tell them about forgiveness. Not the kind that excuses evil, but the kind that refuses to let evil poison your soul. Uncle Namdi died in prison 3 years into his sentence. And when I heard, I felt nothing. No joy. No satisfaction. Just sadness for a man who destroyed himself for money. But mostly I would tell them about love. The love of a father who died trying to do the right thing. The love of strangers who became family. The love that says, you matter, even when the world tells you you don't. Today my clinic has grown. We have 5 doctors now. We treat over 100 patients every day. We have saved countless lives. And every morning before I see my first patient, I touch Papa's silver cross around my neck and whisper, thank you for teaching me that kindness is never wasted. Thank you for showing me that even in darkness, light can survive. Thank you for being my father. Then I open the doors and get to work. Because that's what he would have wanted. And because every person I heal is a way of honoring his memory. Every act of kindness is revenge against the darkness that took him. Every dream I help someone reach is proof that evil doesn't get the last word. Love does. Hope does. Kindness does. Always. The end.